Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Clark, and this is my multimedia presentation for ED 615. I'm not currently a classroom teacher, so I'm using my group member's Jennifer's information, and she is a second grade teacher in elementary school. She has a total of 17 students. 6 students are English language learners, 3 receive special education services, and 4 are limited English proficient. Original student data. The following report on the next slide shows scores from the MMAP assessment, which measures academic progress in math for primary students. The data collected shows progression of all students from fall to winter of the current school year to 2017-18. It includes RIT scores and test percentile. It also shows which categories students fall in, yellow, green, or red. So here's her data. Like I stated earlier, she teaches second grade. Her special ed population, gender, LEP, and right here is the RIT score for fall 2017-18, and this is where her students scored. She has 4 red students, and here is the winter. Once again, here's the score, and here's how they did on the current test. The green students represent students who are above or on grade level. Yellow represents students who are on the cusp of grade level, meaning they're almost there, but they need a little more assistance. And red students indicate that they are performing below grade level at this time. And after reviewing and analyzing her data, I noticed there were more students in red during the fall window. This is because students are now getting accustomed to second grade, getting used to the math and the new lessons. And most students scored increase from the fall testing window to the winter testing window, with the exception of one student whose score was 1 point less from earlier testing. I guess this is because there was more prompts during this time. She provided assistance. She identified certain students' learning styles and what benefits them in the classrooms. And what I also noticed is that most ELL students scored below the fall percentile window with the exception of 2. This could be a language barrier, not having enough support at home when they go home for homework purposes, and just needing extra assistance throughout class time. The exploratory question that we both came up with was, what strategies are currently being used to differentiate instruction for English language learners, and how can these strategies be more effective to increase student achievement in mathematics? Some of the learning and instructional gaps identified. Here's the learning gaps on the left-hand side, and they come over to the right. And here's the instructional gaps on the left-hand side, and it comes over to the right. These were the top learning and instructional gaps we identified throughout her work in the presentation. Jennifer identified students struggle with understanding the meaning of the equal sign, including identified missing add-ins and subtractants. This is a major problem with ELL students because not only do they not understand the language barrier, it's also difficult to teach them something if they've never seen the signs before or understand which order they need to go in. And this was based off the small group that she found, which was the students that she pulled regularly for small group instruction. Another learning gap identified was students struggled to understand the meaning of the equal sign, including how to balance equations. For example, she would give them a blank equation, switch the numbers around to see if they were able to properly fill out the equation, and most students in her group were unable to do that. An instructional gap, the top one that we both identified was students need exposure to more strategies to solve for the unknown number in an equation. They need more, students may need more exposure to manipulatives during these assessments. Manipulatives are key for understanding math because students are able to see the difference between the two numbers. They can identify them with colors. They can identify it with more or less, and providing them with that information while they're testing has shown great growth in most of her students. The target learning goal, the SMART learning goal, by the end of market period 2, ELL students should be able to identify how to solve for an unknown number in an equation with at least 80% accuracy. And in order to test this, the evaluation metric will be students will be able to solve and explain their answers on the elementary mathematics assessment test, or known as EMAT. This is the action plan tracking sheet. Based on the information she provided, we both went back and reviewed how to better assist students. So one instructional tactic that the most important one that would be done was to create a specific vocabulary word banks to support understanding the equal sign and how to solve for the unknown number. Vocabulary words and providing pictures for the students is very important. They're able to see and work through how to solve for the unknown number. Sentence frames and with mathematical discussion and explanation also provides a great frame set for students to understand how to solve for math equations. They'll receive a step-by-step model. So the first step could be, I took this problem to solve this problem is they'll see, make a list of what they have to do in order to solve the equation, and then they'll go to the second step, use the manipulatives to figure out the missing number. Third would be to fill in the missing number, and fourth would be to check their work. So making the list for them is a little easier. They also participated in online games from GregTangMath.com. They were able to practice fluency within 20 and understand the equal sign and identify the unknown number in the equations. This was done over a course of, I believe, 2 weeks. And Jennifer was able to record all her findings within this time. This is the action plan tracking sheet continued. They were able to solve for missing numbers in the equation using tens frames and counting chips. So they get double tens frames and they get 2 double-sided chips to help them understand the importance of identifying the numbers within each equation. So we both enjoyed the tuning protocol. So this is the protocol we use for going forward. It says students participated in online games with GregTangMath.com in order to work on their fluency within 20 and understand the equal sign. They participated in the games Missing and 10-Frame Mania. Missing basically is a game where they fill in the missing add-in based on which numbers were provided for them in the equation. And 10-Frame Mania is the reverse. They just fill out the 10th frame and understand which number was missing, and go so on and so forth. They use Chromebooks to complete the activities during small group, and they also had access to manipulatives in order to solve the equation. With this protocol, the teacher is able to present the lesson and activity or rubric they are planning to use with their students. The teacher receives the work presented and offers both warm and cool feedback. This was very important in reference to ELL students. They like receiving positive reinforcement and know that they're doing well. And if they're having a difficult time, Jennifer provided them with reassurance to ensure that they're on the right track. So after participating in the games, these are the results for each student. Student A was able to mentally solve most of the problems and use little to no manipulatives. Student B, same thing, was able to solve most of the problems mentally, use a double tens frame and chips to check their work. Student C used double tens frame for most of the problems, was able to solve equations with double facts mentally, like for example 7 plus 7 or 2 plus 2. They tried to solve some problems mentally, but often were incorrect and became confused. That's why they ended up with a 4 out of 5 on round 1 and a 4 out of 5 for round 2. Student D needed the most assistance. They needed significant support and was confused. Here are some of her pictures. Student C and Student D. Here's some more. This is the after. And going forward, staying on track was the most important thing in our group. And notice how many students made growth. areas for future growth. I recommended to Jennifer that she should give students a different equation to solve during small groups to avoid copying and locate new resources and also step out their comfort zone. Final thoughts. This was a great way to track data over a period of time. I believe this is something I will greatly benefit from going forward with my future class. Group classmates based on the same level and content area. This is in reference to the entire project. Sometimes it was hard to connect to other group members who were teaching different subject areas. So if we were all focusing on math, they would have some better knowledge on it and find another way to incorporate non-teachers. At times it was very difficult for me because I felt as though I wasn't able to understand where Jennifer was coming from. But going forward, finding better ways to do that would be great. Thanks for watching.